ladies and gentlemen, our Interfilk guest, Dave Luckett.
Thank you, and I really am more than delighted to be here, and it's quite ridiculous to call me, gracious for having turned up. They got past me by putting money in my hand, and the important thing is that when I get back to Australia, I'll be able to show them some tricks that they never knew. It's a bit odd for me because I've never been to a place where they have a convention just for Filk. I was remarking to somebody today, the National Convention, SF Convention for Australia, draws maybe 600 people. And I think that there are about 3 dozen Filkers in the entire place. Anyway, this is, and I also have to thank the organisers very much for the act that I get to follow. After that, I'll keep this as short as possible. This is a song that I wrote out of the excessive love that I have for the SCA. All we have of freedom, all we ever knew, this is just a silly phase that we're passing through. Ancient rights undoubted, Fooey and Peshore. Let's be ruled by lesser breeds that never knew the law. Monarchs are the good guys, see Lord of the Rings. Right throughout the genre we make truce with kings. Still it's just half-hearted, let's go all the way. Oh what fun, say everyone, let's join the SCA. A Trekkie, but that doesn't count. Get oppressed by experts, not by Paramount. Take a reef from Star Wars, though that's hardly fair. Who'd be a Republican under Princess Leia? Regency or Arthur Manuel Aragon. There are fandoms mobbing each new monarch born. Get ahead of fandom, tell you what to do. Get into the SCA before they get to you. Franchise is outmoded, votes are simply nulls. Monarchs are selected for skills at quacking skulls. East is east, they tell me, and the east is red. If you kipple, I recall there's something Kipling said. In distress is tempest and disaster too. Stand beside your master, and he'll stand on you. These are words to live by, these are words that ring when some loon beseeches you to suffer for a king. And while we're on the subject of pastiches of Leslie, I often wondered what happened when the bloke eventually got to rest stop. This is it. Well, some bloke crawled into rest stop out of Marsport. He was spitting red-hot rivets from his arse. Had a load of feral chooks and blokes in fezzes. Some Martian goods by Jesus, and miners armed with lasers. We razzed him, but he went right on performing. He was up to Hydo when we brought him in, 'cause we saw he'd killed his G and being bastards. We used tractors to impart to him a spin. And we're really quite a weird mob out at rest stop, sitting on a stone that's rolling, next one out from Mars. Where the solar winds are gale, you feel at home, 'cause it's quite like Australia, 'cause the stone's the silence, darkness and the stars. But we scraped him off the walls and looked him over. A pile of guano set that he had eyes. He called us all a shower of useless bastards and told us it would cost us a crate or two of Fosters. We disentangled chooks and crap and riders, and as required we hosed down, cycled, plucked. Then we sat him down and handed him a tinny, And he smiled at us and said, well, I'll be very grateful to you. And we're really quite a weird mob out at rest stop, sitting on a stone that's rolling, next one out from Mars. When the solar winds are gale, you feel at home, 'cause it's quite like Australia, just the stones, the silence, darkness, and the stars. So come on up and see the mob at rest stop. We'll put some chook upon the barbecue, no prawns, and we'll sit you down and call the cat a bastard, and yarn a while with you, and sink a beer or two. And if you think it's weird that we're Australian, well, perhaps this was the way it's meant to be, for we always knew the endless empty desert and looked outward to a great and shining sea. And we're quite a weird mob out at rest stop, sitting on a stone that's rolling, next one out from Mars. Where the solar winds are gale, you feel at home, 'cause it's quite like Australia, just the stones, the silence, darkness, and the stars. I tried this next one in New York and got an immediate laugh on the first line. And I couldn't work out why. I mean, it's not as if it isn't a great first line. I mean, all my first lines are, well, they're something. And I think I should preface this song by saying that when an Australian says the bush, he means the forest, or speaking loosely, any area outside the built-up city area. Right? It turns out that in your culture it means something totally different. This is a pastiche anyway. I'll try it a cappella. If the bush you conflagrate, the eucalypts just love it. They use the heat to propagate. In 3 weeks they've recovered. It's aphrodisiac for trees, but folks downwind it does not please. So do not set the bush on fire, or else we'll kill you for such an act we don't admire, when you should set the bush on fire. That's sort of in the nature of a little Filk song. This is probably the only Filk song that I've written that I know that's actually crossed national boundaries. Craig Hilton wrote some extra verses for it, but it appears to be growing like Waltz elsewhere. Let's see if I can get this right. It helps if you can get the keys. This is the Lice blues. Every chest's a mimic, and all the gold's illusion. The ring I found's a gimmick, which only caused confusion. My magic user's gone bananas too. Oh, why do I throw dice the way I do? My cleric's drunk and mawkish, my bard's tone deaf I fear. Yeah, I think my elf's half orcish, my monk's got gonorrhea. My paladin just sold his horse for glue. Oh, why do I throw dice the way I do? I can't understand just how they do it. I watch them as they tumble, roll and bounce. The way that they land, I swear they knew it, to come up with the worst result but only when it really counts. So I curse my lousy timing, my saving throws are hopeless. I always fall when climbing, but never from a low place. Excruciating death is nothing new. Oh, why do I throw dice the way I do? If I broke a single weapon, I must have busted dozens. I think my cheapest henchman is one of Sauron's cousins. And I just saw an umber hulk that flew. Oh, why do I throw dice the way I do? You'd think that someday my luck would alter and I could grab the Gritling prize and run. But knowing the way I seem to falter, I guess I'm just a dragon snack when everything is said and done. When a vampire comes, it's tragic, my garlic smells of onions. And when I try some magic to raise my dead companions, I animate a manticore I slew. Oh, why do I throw dice the way I do? Although we number way more, some goblins force a standoff. I swing my trusty claymore and hack my friend's right hand off. My healing potion gave us all the flu. Oh, why do I throw dice the way I do? The traps that I find the hard way. The walls have ears and some have teeth as well. The pipes that I tried to play the bard way have summoned 40 rats, a lich, 3 harpies and an ochre jelly. I assure you it's no laughing matter. The corridor is sloping, the orcs are close behind me. I call for DI hoping that somebody will find me. It turns out to be Satan and his crew. Oh, why do I throw dice the way I do? It's simply tragic. Why do I throw dice the way I do? It must be magic. Why do I throw dice the way I do? It's classic Luckett. Why do I throw dice the way I do? Oh, fiddlesticks. That's in the book I'm auctioning off, yeah, a full version. And now for something completely different. I mentioned once that I found the SCA a trifle odd, but at one stage I wrote a lot of songs for them, and this, is, of course, is typically poor of them. This is a typically poor song. Once far away and long ago, a knight in armour laid a dragon low. To save a maiden she was passing fair to see, and so he brought her to her father's hall, and he asked her for her hand before them all, and her father gave consent. The marriage was conventional. The knight would ride forth upon a quest. His lady acted as chatelaine. Their lives went on just like all the rest, and they never touched that height again. It was long ago and far away, and it couldn't happen like that nowadays, for a reason very plain: there's no dragons that remain to slay. And I have to, I'm getting the some of the Oast ones out of the way, because this is the other one that's in the Con songbook. This one unfortunately goes up fairly high, and I might have to press a little bit. So for the sound man, when I hit the A, would you be so kind as to turn it down before the windows shatter? Slide where fires died in silent empty rooms, silken soft the airy waft of Lilith's own perfume. The dancers in the gloom, whispered themes you hear in dreams, the sighing of a song, withered leaves on wintry eaves sent chillingly along. The dancers must whirl on. Sometimes echo of music chilling into the night and thrilling into a sleepy ear. Listen, you'll almost hear it. Not quite do you hear it, never quite will you ever hear. Marie, you nearly see and never realize what may wander just beyond the corners of your eyes. Me, round and round, forever bound. The dance can never die, the dance can never I should have said that is the Ghost Waltz. I shall now demonstrate a little known fact. It's not widely known, but in fact, classical Italian opera is a branch of Filk. No, it's true. Opera is only a branch of Filk. and I shall proceed to demonstrate this contentious point. It's not widely known, except to those like myself, of course, who have an intimate knowledge of colloquial Italian, the sort of knowledge that has Italians coming up to you and saying, "I never knew it meant that." If somebody happens to have a musical instrument where they know what the note is, could somebody hit me a D, please? There's a piano over there. This is actually helpful. Now, I have to set the scene. This is the well-known aria, Nessun Dorma, wherein, thank you, wherein the prince starts the aria by complaining about the cramped quarters in his starship and the fact that he has to share it with some working machinery. And he begins, Nessun Dorma, none shall sleep. Nessun Dorma, none shall sleep in the bottom bunk either. Troppo principessa nella tua fredda stanza. You are pure, O princess, but your feet are cold. Guardi le stelle che tramano d'amore. I love the stars, but travelling across them is a pain. Che ti famiglia, with your family. He goes on to complain about the many parts of the compartment which are filled by working machinery, especially since it does not allow him to play his favourite game, which can go, Sale la bocche. I can no longer play with my steel balls. Tramontante stelle, across the stars. Tramontante stelle, l'alba vincerò. I share my compartment with a large winch. In which I have caught my steel balls. Vincerò, vincerò. No, that was more in the nature of fortissimo, yeah. Okay, this is the last Filksong, and being the last Filksong, I'm going to make you and me as miserable as possible. What do I do after I... Last Filksong, okay, this thing. I remember the joy and the triumph. It was the year that I turned 18. A man spoke a word in the silence of a world words had never been. 30 years gone into silence, and silence no longer seems to call. And this is the last Filksong, the very last Filk of all. I thought that I'd see, if I lived long, lights in the dark where the fire showed, The ship's headed out for the darkness on our last and our longest road. But 30 years gone, and I know now lights can go out and the darkness fall, and this is the last Filksong, the very last Filk of all. Fade into silence, let the notes dwindle and die. Whatever happened to harbours and hope? Tell me, when did we kiss the dream goodbye? Oh, I know that it won't be forever. Someday the miracles will return, and then there'll be lights in the darkness where only the far stars burn. But 30 years gone is too many, and I'll never see those lights at all. And so this is the last Filksong, the very last Filk of all. The very last Filk of all. This is, if you want this is not my song. This is Craig Hilton, who wrote some of these with me. And you've got to remember that he was talking about West Australian conventions, which are a strange experience. Oh, I remember my very first con, and the wonder I felt as I stumbled upon all the comings and goings and carryings on. And they called it science fiction, rail, baron and D&D, Vegemite and virility, rude tunes in the key of C, and they called it science fiction. They left me to mentally grope in the dark as they rabbited on about hunting the snark. And I heard not a word about Arthur C. Clarke, and they called it science fiction. Mad pranks in the swimming pool, frisbees over the garden wall, dead doggies and baby oil, and they called it science fiction. The headaches they got from electric guitars and from long afternoons getting plastered in bars were the closest they'd come to exploring the stars, but they called it science fiction. Room parties in corridors, elevators, entire floors, rum smoothing and cream masseurs, and they called it science fiction. Oh, I remember my very first con, and the wonders I felt as I stumbled upon all the comings and goings and carryings on. Well, it's more fun than science fiction.
and gentlemen, that was Dave Luckett.